Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm back with Nyamat today. So, Nyamat is a therapist. So, thank you very, very much, Nyamat, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lakshit, for inviting me.
Yeah. So, before we get into our questions or anything, please introduce yourself, what you do, everything about your work. Please take us through your work. Yeah.
Sure. So I am a practicing psychologist. I've been practicing for the last 2 years. I also work as an assistant professor in a postgraduate college in Mumbai. So I'm very passionate about working with people individually and in groups. And within therapy, I follow a trauma-informed, client-centered approach. We do individual sessions. I also hold support groups and workshops throughout the year. And now with the pandemic, given that people are needing this more than ever, I've also expanded my practice a little bit.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, please, before we get into any kind of discussion and I ask you questions about anything, please take us through the topic and give a brief intro about it and what we're going to discuss here.
Sure, sure. We were actually looking to talk about the impact of the pandemic on mental health because, of course, it's been a large one.
Yeah.
This is an unprecedented event, and we weren't prepared for this. Nobody was prepared for this, and all of us have um, been impacted in some way or the other by this pandemic. So I've been reading a lot, and people are talking about how after this pandemic, perhaps the next crisis will be a mental health crisis, because for a lot of people there have been so many emotions that have come up. There is isolation, loneliness. We're inherently social beings. We're wired to connect with people, and of course the pandemic has taken that away from us, at least physically, the
Hmm.
physical part of connecting. So there's been a lot of isolation, there's been a lot of loneliness, there's been so much anxiety because now there's a real threat of a virus. We're concerned about our safety, we're concerned about our loved ones. So a lot of anxiety coming up. A lot of people have lost loved ones. A lot of people have
Yeah.
also lost different things. They've lost livelihoods, they've lost that semblance of normalcy that they had. So whenever there's any loss of any kind, there's also so much grief. So a lot of us are grieving, and we're all grieving in different ways. We're working from home, because of which there's blurred lines when it comes to personal life and professional life. So a lot of burnout is also happening. So when I'm talking about all of these things, I know I'm naming feelings, but a lot of this is actually contributing to our mental health in a lot of big and small ways.
Hmm. Great, great. So I think yeah, you covered the first part of it and how it has impacted us. So how do you recognize that you are impacted or you have been feeling that mental pressure, mental health problem, or that anxiety or that problem in your head, in your mind, and then of course you would be also feeling that in your body, because when you're mentally not that great and things are not going well in your mind, your body
Yeah,
starts being weird too. So how do you recognize that something is not right with your mental health situation?
correct. I'm so glad you brought out the mind body connection, because that's true. Whatever we're feeling it in our minds, yes, but it also manifests in our body
Yeah.
in some way or the other. So I think just as a starting point, again, mental health distress, it manifests differently for everybody. So you and I could both be anxious, but your anxiety may look completely different to my anxiety. So I think one of the questions you can start asking yourself, and you also don't need to wait for a crisis or when the distress is too much to be able to seek help. You can do that regardless. But one of the questions, just to start understanding the impact, is just ask yourself, okay, how is what I'm feeling, how is this impacting my work? How is it impacting my health? How is it impacting my relationships? How is it impacting my life? And if you notice that the impact is, maybe on a scale of, and again, I can't really quantify it, this is just an approximation. So on a scale of say 1 to 10, if you notice the impact is above 4,
Mhm.
then perhaps it's a good time for you to start looking at resources outside to seek help. You can also maybe ask yourself, whatever it is that I'm feeling, is it coming in the way of me pursuing things that are important or meaningful to me? If it is, if you're now avoiding those things, then again perhaps it's a good time for you to start looking for resources to help out.
Mhm.
Having said that, just a disclaimer, which I always add, is that self care, even mental health care, it can be preemptive. You
Mhm.
don't need to wait till you're distressed to talk about it or to seek help. You can actually do it preemptively, like we go to the gym to take care of our body and our physical health. It's pretty much like that.
Totally, totally. And see, as the whole idea of starting this podcast and me doing this, I've been doing it for a year
Yeah.
now, and the whole idea of doing this was keep people are not. This is a topic which is really really stigmatized all around the world, living some countries, right? The whole
Yeah.
idea was to bring experts who could help people without them going and meeting them personally, because not everybody's financially that well and can't afford it, or a lot of people are not open to speak about. So my question to
Yeah.
you now would be, how can a person help him or herself or themselves by themselves? How can they help themselves at a very very, like, the
Yeah.
at its best? How can they help themselves? And then what situation do you think they must go to a therapist, they must go and talk to them about their problem?
Yeah, a very good question. In fact, because like you rightly said, the therapy is one way to take care of our health,
Hmm,
our mental health. It's not the only way.
hmm,
For a lot of people, they might not have access to therapy, even access to good therapists. That in itself is a whole different concern, which we don't need to get into. But you're right, everybody may not have access to therapy. There are different ways. And again, there's no one size fits all here. You need to kind of try things, see what works for you. What works for you may be completely different to what works for me, and that's the way mental health is, and that's completely all right. I think as a starting point, it can help to talk about it to anybody, not necessarily a professional like this podcast you're doing, right? You're talking about mental health. I think that's so important. One, to break the stigma,
hmm, hmm,
because there's so much associated stigma. So to break the stigma, but also when you voice out your feelings, when you name the feeling out loud, it puts you more in touch with it.
hmm,
Otherwise, so much of a life can be about distracting ourselves from what we are feeling. So just beginning to talk to anyone about it. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could even be a colleague if you're comfortable, but begin to voice out those concerns. If you
hmm,
don't have a support network or a support system where you're able to talk to another person, maybe talk to yourself about it, maybe journal it out, maybe write it out. Even that could be useful. So I think one thing that can be useful is beginning to get in touch with our feelings in smaller ways, right? Like journaling, talking to people, naming the feeling out loud. Having said that, I recognize that during the pandemic, it can get really overwhelming because you're feeling so many different things. I named a few in the beginning, but there's so much we are feeling. It can also help to intentionally or mindfully distract yourself. So when I say intentional, mindful distraction, I don't mean avoidance. I don't mean that I'm going to, drown myself in Netflix and never think about this again. I'm going to say, okay, I'm feeling flooded right now. Let me turn to a comforting TV show and maybe come back to this feeling later on. So have those different sources of distraction for yourself. That's completely fine. I don't think I could have gotten out of this pandemic in the way that I did without having these TV shows to turn to. So whatever it is that works for you, it could be something else. It could be talking to a friend about something else. It could be playing online games. It could be having your TV shows. Anything that helps, do more of that. Apart from finding sources of pleasure, I think what can really help mental health is also finding sources of meaning. So pleasure is more short term, it's more short lived. Meaning, it's more value oriented, it's more consistent with your values. So for instance, perhaps you derive meaning by doing this podcast,
hmm,
and that's wonderful. I'm noticing that you're doing so much of this during the pandemic, and perhaps that's helping you
hmm,
take care of your own mental health. So whatever it is that brings you meaning. For a lot of people, creating something brings them meaning. Like when I say creating something, I mean cooking. I know a lot of people who are cooking and experimenting in the kitchen, and that's bringing them meaning. Art, poetry, writing, creation sometimes brings meaning. But whatever it is, we know so many people who are now helping other people out. You'll see people sharing resources, arranging resources, creating these databases. And I think all of that can be a way that we find meaning, and it can really help in any crisis and even otherwise to have sources of meaning that act as anchors, that kind of
hmm,
get us through this crisis. So I think that could be helpful. As I'm talking about this, I'm also recognizing the value of these three things, which I think everybody can be benefited by in some way or the other. One is a routine.
hmm,
And again, for different people, different things may help. So for you, having some flexibility in routine is actually better. For me, it could be having everything planned out. But find what works for you and try and maintain some consistent routine if possible, because it's very easy to lose track in the
hmm.
pandemic.
True.
If possible, have a consistent routine. When I talk about routine, I also think of rituals. For instance, when I would go to work pre-pandemic, me sitting in the auto, coming back home, maybe stopping on the way and getting groceries, that was a ritual. That was a ritual that helped me transition from work to home, which we don't have those rituals anymore. So it can
Hmm.
help to create your own rituals. So maybe the way you transition out of work into, say, doing things at home, maybe it's you listening to a podcast or it's you meditating. But find these smaller rituals if possible and do those consistently, because they can also be very, very anchoring for you.
Hmm.
And the whole point of rituals is, like, when I'm talking about work and I'm talking about your life outside of work, what also comes to mind is boundaries. Being able to set boundaries, like I said, we're all working from home, so it's very easy for those boundaries to get blurred. So what can help is having boundaries not only around work but also around your energy and your care. So limiting my news consumption could be a way in which I set boundaries. But find boundaries, not necessarily, again, only physical boundaries, maybe psychological boundaries, but find boundaries, uphold those boundaries, and also be flexible in shifting those boundaries if necessary.
Great, great. So, just one last question I would like to put up here
Yeah.
is ki what would be your I would say message or an advice to anybody who is going through something now, or anybody who's watching or listening this.
Yeah. I think one of the things that has basically come to the forefront, and I completely agree with that, I'm noticing so much of that, is one thing that can really help us get through a difficult time like this is community. So if possible, find your community. Again, I know I'm referencing you a lot, but perhaps for you, through this podcast, you've managed to create this community of people coming together, listening to this, talking about it, right? So find your community, and it doesn't have to be a big community. It could be maybe one or two people who you're comfortable with, who you're doing things with. But I think community mental health is the way forward, and we're seeing so much of that during the pandemic. So find your community. If you're finding it tough, find it within yourself if possible. If you're struggling to find safe spaces outside, maybe be that support system for yourself, and build it on from there.
Sure, great. I think that's wonderful, Nyamat. It was wonderful having you. Thank you very, very much for giving your time, and thank you very much for enlightening us on the topic. Thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Lakshya. Thank you for having me.